we got connected with early intervention actually through Children's Hospital. When we were discharging from the NICU, they're setting up all these different appointments and all of our follow-ups. And one of the programs that they told us about was Help Me Grow. And I believe they gave me the contact information, but they also sent our information to Help Me Grow so they could contact me to get evaluations and everything set up for that.
Okay. So how do you feel that whole process went? How did you feel, or how was it confusing?
No, the only thing that was confusing is Sawyer got discharged and then very quickly got readmitted. And so they had actually contacted me when she had gotten readmitted back in the hospital. So we did have to put it off a little bit to have them come in and see her, because she ended up spending another 3 months in the PICU. But once we were finally home and we were able to do everything, it was a very easy process. They came in, they did the evaluation, and then we got in contact with the different therapists, and then we started having our at-home visits there. And it was all just very simple and really nice because it was in our home, which was nice, not only just for a comfort level, but also a safety level for Sawyer not going out. And because even pre-COVID, we were always careful with exposures to things. So.
Well, can you share with us a little bit about Sawyer?
Yeah, so Sawyer was born with a rare genetic syndrome called CHARGE syndrome. We did not know anything prior to her being born. I had a completely normal pregnancy. And then she was born, and the day she was born, she was taken to Nationwide Children's, and she ended up spending 11 months in the NICU there. And while she was there, she ended up having to she had multiple surgeries. She ended up coming home with a trach and a G-tube. And she, not only because of being in a hospital bed for the first almost year of her life, but also because of her syndrome, she was very delayed with everything, every milestone. When she came home for the final time after her PICU stay as well, she was 13 months old, wasn't sitting up on her own, wasn't crawling, obviously wasn't walking. She couldn't do any of those things. And so that was obviously something that we were trying to play catch up with once we were home, and in the setting that she was able to keep up with her siblings and things like that. And she started just progressing so much faster because she did get therapy while in the NICU and the PICU, but it's such a different environment than when you're at home and you can use your own things as motivation to try to get her to do, what you're trying and stuff like that.
Okay. And so that kind of goes into my next question, how did early intervention help you with that?
So what I really love about early intervention because we did early intervention, and then she also does private therapy at a facility. And there were a few things that we noticed specifically with Sawyer. She was more comfortable in her home, obviously. She would just, I don't want to say perform, but she would do the things better in her own home. Plus her siblings got to take a part of that as well. And so they would be excited and they would be like, I want to try to do whatever it is, the activity they were doing. And so it motivated Sawyer to want to do it as well. Plus the therapists don't just come in and do their set things. They are all about teaching the parent or the caregiver how to do this in everyday life and how to incorporate it in just what you're doing. And so it doesn't feel like, oh, I need to sit here and do 30 minutes of occupational therapy with Sawyer. It is, okay, all of us are going to play with Play-Doh, and these are the things that we're going to work with. And this is how this is going to help Sawyer with different delays she might have. And so it made it just, made me more educated on how to take everyday life and turn it into therapy for her, instead of we just go and we sit in a room and which is great in its own way as well.
Right.
But it really helped. And I mean, like my older girls, they would get excited when like Sawyer would touch Play-Doh for the first time, because that was a big deal. Or when she, started sitting up or crawling or any of those milestones, we all knew that that was a big deal, because
that's awesome.
Intervention had taught us, like, these are the things we're working towards. And it was like a family thing, not just a therapist and Sawyer.
Yeah, that's amazing. So even your children were recognizing the milestones that she was meeting. That's awesome. What do you think was the most helpful? And you kind of touched on that, just it being in your home.
Well, and they were always so good about either bringing things that we could keep, like if Sawyer was working on sensory type things, they would bring items that we could keep so we could work on them throughout, the 2 weeks until we had another session or whatever it might be. And they were good at taking some of our own stuff. Like they would say, hey, do you have this, that, or the other? Let me show you how to incorporate that into what we're doing. And so, like I said, it taught me how to, I don't need to go and spend money on different things or whatever. I can just find items we already have and work on these same skills that they do in a therapy session. So we were able to just incorporate it every day into our.
And I know you had one primary person that came into your home, but you also had access to the whole team.
Right.
So besides your developmental specialist, what other therapists or agencies were we able to connect you with?
So we had our developmental specialist. We also had physical therapy come out with the developmental specialist every time. And then they connected me with other agencies within the county. Like I didn't know the health department actually has like a nurse and a feeding therapist and a few other things. And they gave me the information for that, where they were able to come out and do some evaluations for Sawyer. They also, I think they had asked me and were going to give me the information for WIC had we not been already signed up for that. It was just really all of these different public county boards and things that are available that until you just don't know. I mean, it's not things that you use in everyday life unless you have a child that has those needs. And so they were always able to just let me know, what other resources were available to us.
Yeah, because I know that, you had service coordination, right?
Mm-hmm.
Help me grow you.
Right.
You had a developmental specialist. I know our physical therapist, and I believe we also can help connect you with OSSB, right? The highest state school for the blind.
Yes.
Or visually impaired.
That was huge because I didn't know about it. And they came out and did an evaluation, and they are now working with the school that Sawyer is going to. Like she just goes to Danville Public Preschool. And the person that came out and did the evaluation with Sawyer, I was able to email her a year later and say, hey, the school now wants to have an evaluation done and add that into her IEP and do all of that. And, she was able to do that, and they are, working on coordinating everything there. My developmental specialist also went to our first IEP meeting last year, which was huge because I was really nervous and I was worried that I wasn't going to cover everything I needed to or whatever. So it was really helpful to have the support there on my end, that way if I forgot something or wasn't sure about something, they were there as reinforcements.
Yeah. Helping with that transition to preschool. I know, Shannon, another person that we also connected you, or another agency, was Akron Children's, right? Speech and language.
Oh, yeah. We, I forgot all about, I loved them and I forgot all about that. That was amazing because Sawyer did it, over Zoom or
right. Via technology.
Yeah. Video.
And that was before COVID too, wasn't it?
It was just in Akron. And so they offered that. And it was amazing to watch Sawyer interact so well. I had no idea that she would do that well with like a video therapy, which helped a lot once we did go to COVID, to know what did and didn't work for her trying to do therapies through a video call.
Yeah, great. What would you tell another family about early intervention? What is something you would encourage them, or what would you share with them about early intervention?
I think oftentimes, and I've talked to a lot of families about this, I know a lot of times people are worried to get some sort of diagnosis or to reach out for help if they're having some, if their child is having some sort of delay or some sort of issue. And my biggest thing is nobody with early intervention is scary. Nobody is going to, make you feel bad about how your child is. They're just there to support you and to help you and to give you the resources you need to make your child as successful as they can be. A diagnosis is not the end of the world. It's just going to open the right doors for you. I've had families that have reached out to me and they're like, I just don't know, my child is not doing this, or I'm concerned. And I've told them, and not even all of them are not even in Knox County. Some of them, I have friends in Licking County that I've connected them with the right person to get information. Because if you don't know, you can't help. And that's what early intervention does. They come out and they do that evaluation and they can let you know what? No, they're right on track. You don't need to worry. Or there were some delays and this is what we're going to do to work on it. And then it gives you those skills as a parent to be able to help your child. So my biggest thing is just don't be scared to reach out, because everyone is awesome there and they want to help and they will be a cheerleader for your child. And everybody wants more cheerleaders for their child, so.
Absolutely. And so I know you said when Sawyer first came in, she wasn't sitting up or walking or doing any of that. So tell us all the things that Sawyer is doing today.
Goodness, Sawyer runs and jumps and climbs and gives me a heart attack daily because she is a wild woman. She just this morning made my living room a mess with Play-Doh. She made a Christmas craft with shaving cream, which is a huge deal because she hated shaving cream. She is talking a lot. She still signs some, but she can vocalize a ton. She's going to in-person preschool. She's keeping up with her classmates. She is like my other children. She keeps up with everyone and she plays and she has fun, and does things that, they told us she never would.
Yeah. And I also heard something through the grapevine that, are you going back to school?
I am in nursing school. Yes.
That is awesome.
It might be crazy, but yes, that
is awesome, Shannon. I think, and it's really all the things. You're the one that has made the difference. The board supported you, right, but you are the one that, implemented, you were like a sponge, anything that we could do to support you. So you're the one that has made the difference with Sawyer. Yeah.
I try, I really do.
Yeah. And I'm proud of you for going back to school.
It's been a challenge, but it's been really great, honestly, getting to like use my brain again for something more. Not that being a mother isn't fulfilling. I love it. And I love being home with my children, but getting to do more is awesome. And the fact that Sawyer is the complete inspiration for it just makes it that much sweeter, because I always said, before Sawyer was born, if there was an emergency, don't call me because I'll run away. Like and I'm medical. So, I mean, she just completely took me out of my comfort zone and helped me realize the like other purpose in my life other than being a mom. So
that's great, Shannon. That's great. Okay. Thank you for talking with us and, sharing your story. And, it really is a happy ending.
It is. Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.